flies. Catskill style quill body. I think it's the red quill. Is the classic art flick fly. You can tell the time, this 1970s. There's a variety of dries, but I was interested in this guy. This guy looks good, but I don't know if I have the right soft hackle. But to me, this is a very well-designed fly. So we'll try some of that, and then we'll see how far we go. Not traditionally my style of tying, but popular back east, and I think a style that any developing tyer should practice would be these Catskill style flies. So let's go ahead and get started. Make some adjustments on the vise, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with that red quill. I need some water. So we'll use this cup of water to kind of soak any materials we use. So the quill body tends to be brittle, especially if they're older, and mine are older. So we'll need them malleable enough to tie with. So soaking them in water helps with that. In terms of the thread, I don't really know what kind of thread the old timers were using, but we have a lot to choose from. But we'll go with a dark brown to start. We'll try to start on that red quill. I like the oversized hackle, and then I like the mallard wing, and you can tell just by the distribution of the hackle that he's only doing like 1, 2, 3 turns, and I think it helps in terms of surface area. It allows the tail. So if you do, cover more of the top half with hackle, then the hackle is resting on the water. But if you have a thinner point, then the tail acts as a kind of stabilizer, and that fly will land right side up with the wings on top rather than on the side. If you fish like an elk hair caddis or a heavily dressed fly, they land sideways more often than not. But simply dressing a fly ensures that it lands properly. However, this fly will only work in slower moving water. Fast water, this one would not be great. So that's when you start dressing them more heavily, when you fish it in the faster water. So, but this is still the classic style of dry fly. The American classic. I think the Europeans consider other things a little bit more classic. I have a habit of changing patterns, and I don't want to do that here. I kind of want to stay true, so I'll try to stay true as much as I can. But sometimes I see little nuances, and I want to add some things. So we'll try to avoid that as much as possible. The first thing I'm seeing is the tail material. The tail looks like it's just hen hackle fibers, and I've always thought those were a little bit soft to use for tail fibers. I like something thinner and stiffer, but we'll try. We'll try to stay true. How's that showing? It's showing okay. We got a brown neck. I'm thinking this size for the hackle, which I think will be good. We'll take that out. And then the quill can be any size. I think a bigger size might be better for the quill. And we'll use some of these tips for the tail. The tips are thinner. The base of the feather is webbier, longer, which is nice, but webbier. But we want just a few of the thinner tips. And we will tie them in as a tail, which is not very long. But I think that's enough. And then for the rest of the feather, we'll strip it off. And unfortunately, we'll have to ditch much of this. So we get our good quill. For the body, I want to use the thicker stem because it has a nice taper. The thinner bit is also nice, but you tie it in tip first, so we'll snip it there. Then I'm gonna put it in my cup of water, and I'm gonna let that kind of soak just for a couple minutes. Just for a couple minutes. His looks like it's varnished. I'm not gonna varnish ours. But we do need a mallard wing. A different color might be nice, but I'll just go with this white. And tying in the wing, tying in the bodies. I know some tyers do the wing first. I'm trying to think if that makes any sense here. I don't think it does. So we'll wrap the body, then we'll do the wing. That'll be our plan. All right. We have our stem. Kind of remove some of that excess water. You're gonna have to guess how much you need. You could start here, but then you're losing all the width of the stem. So I'm gonna just eyeball that and go ahead and we'll tie that in. We'll stop there. Go ahead. Oh, we broke our quill. That's why we soak it. Now we are in trouble. But we can still salvage it. We'll just have to cheat. Let's try it one more time. If not, we'll have to get a new feather. Okay. Easy does it. Easy does it. I'm wrapping it slow, and then I'm pushing it with my index, just so no angles, doesn't have a chance to kind of split, which it wants to do. Our taper's a little funky because we had the bulgy tie-in point for the tail. And I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it. Not perfect. Certainly not perfect. Go ahead, take that off. Try to press down that bump. There's good segmentation though with the quill, so it looks nice. Let's go ahead and tie in our wing. I've always done mallard wing in bunches, so I'll get the feather, and you could use a piece of foam. One side is going to be enough. If you wanted to double up, you could press it in foam and to squeeze the two sides together, but I think one side will be enough, so we'll go ahead and strip the side. Take a look at those tips. The tips are fine. And go ahead and we'll tie it in with the tips facing toward the eye. And then we'll try to trim it as close as we can. Put a few wraps in front. And now we'll split. I'm just going to do one wrap in between and one wrap in between, like an X. The tips are a little bit wonky. That's okay. We have our hackle that we like for our wrap. Cut in a little tie-in point. And then go ahead and I tie it off to the side. I've seen people stick the quill in the middle, but I kind of do it to the side. And we'll go ahead and advance the thread. You want to avoid, in the first wrap, the hackle kind of pointing backwards. It's tricky to do, but if you wrap slow, it's possible. And we do one turn, two turns, come up front, one turn, and then we'll stop. Trap it, clip it. We'll whip finish, then we'll clean it up. This is a definite change of pace from what we were tying the day before, those bass bugs. a quill body mayfly. Problems: since we broke the quill early, the back is thick, which isn't great, and then there's some thread exposed toward the butt. On the bottom, you don't see it as much, and that's the part that counts. The hackle is the appropriate length. The wings are a tad long, but I don't think it hurts. And then the tail is a tad short. But other than that, decent looking little fly. We'll put him to the side. We will take a look at the next one. Okay, similar concept, but it looks like a yarn body. I don't know the name of that. And then it also looks like there's no wing. Here's another dry. Here's a heavier dressed fly. And then we go to the nymphs. Let's do I think this one is the blue wing olive. I know he has a famous blue wing olive pattern. That looks like it, with the shorter tail. Yeah, maybe we try to do a little olive pattern. Let's flip it. I'm looking for a good hook. Those are a bit large. Those are a bit small. This is a 16. I'm tempted just to use the brown thread again, but we will switch to an olive. A UTC 70. The tail and the hackle are going to be hard for me to replicate. I don't know if I have that blue dun colored hackle. Mine might be a little bright and a little long. It's a little bit long for the, looks like it's this is splitting. I think that's a little bit long for that fly. Let's check. These might be good. These came from a fly tying kit many, many years ago. People rag on fly tying kits, but man, I think they are good. It'll work. We'll use it. I'm gonna cheat with the tail. I'm gonna use a CDL, which is a very long material. That is good for dry flies. So we'll get 3 CDL fibers. I don't think Art Flick was using CDL. It's a nice sparse tail. For the dubbing, we'll use a synthetic. We'll do the olive, and then we'll mix it with gray. I think that'll give us a good color. But what I hope we can do with the body is have that nice segmentation that we see in the picture. So if we can dub the rope tight enough, it'll look like yarn, a yarn body. One continuous piece of material. So I got a pinch of olive and a pinch of gray. And when you smush it together, it'll appear darker. The key is going to be a uniform dubbing rope, which you can achieve by just eyeballing it. Loosely adding the material. At first. That's more than enough. And then tightening it up. Spinning one direction. Tight as you can. Let's go ahead and start from the back here, work our way up. It's funny that I didn't do a good enough job blending it, and so the back is gray and the front is olive. I couldn't see it. I can see it now. And then I did the dubbing rope too thick. And I did too much, which is everybody makes the same mistakes. No matter how many flies you tie, too much material. Except for Art Flick. Seems like he understood the proper amount. As I look at the picture, I don't see a wing, and I think that's smart. Tying it no wing might be the way to go here. But we need to find the right feather. This one's got a wicked curve on it. Quite long. Yeah, maybe about there. And go ahead and tie it in. And then we'll make sure everything's pointing in the right direction before we start. One wrap. Oh, that's too long, but it's okay. Two wraps hold it in place. Three wraps hold it in place. And stop. Okay. Cinch down that knot. Breaking it is not good. Don't do that. But tightening it, that was their second turn, so I'm not really worried, but the oversize is not what you would see in fly shops these days. But on his path, I think it was the norm in the 70s. Every dry fly would be considered oversized than what the fly shop sells today, because the fly shop has a lot of genetic hackle, and they can really get a very specific sized feathers. But to me, it's a suitable blue wing olive pattern. It would work. Yeah, and then we have our red quill, which would also work. Back to the internet. What we have, we're gonna skip that one. I think that looks like a March brown. We will go for the nymph, which is cool. I see a little shellback right there. I see very sparse legs, which is interesting. A hare's ear or muskrat body, and then we have a mallard tail. It looks like there's some weight or wrap, lead wrap toward the front. So we'll try to add that. And then the hook looks like a much broader, heavier hook. Let's check the dry fly. Same size, maybe. But we'll go for the nymph. I don't know if the nymph has a name, but it certainly is like a mayfly. Mayfly nymph. So that's where we'll go. I'm gonna do mine a little bit bigger. Because just the way how sparse it's tied, I think you could do a mayfly or caddis larva. It's pretty generic. Let's do a little bit of weight on it. I think we have some lead-free round wire here. I don't know if there's a wire. I think I see a wire rib on that. Maybe add a wire rib. Just a little bit of weight. So that the thorax is more pronounced. Trying to get those wraps as tight as we can. And we'll take off that last bit. Just a little bit of weight. And go ahead and start our thread behind the wraps. And then we can go through the wraps and then up toward the head and then back through the wraps. If you really wanted to be judicious, you could do a drop of super glue to lock all of it in. Yeah. All right. Tail. The same like white mallard. I don't know if that's the way to go. So we're gonna try to find a different color for the tail. We'll stick with the mallard, but we'll just try to find a different color. I had like an orange piece. I've been saving it. I see yellow, which would be amazing, but not today. A little different color mallard. What do we have? More yellow. Quite a dark hackle. That's interesting. Well, let's go with This one's barred, but it's darker. That one might be our feather. But I'm gonna keep them short. So I'm just gonna cut out a bunch. And then I'm gonna shorten it to about right there. Hopefully Art Flick doesn't mind. Let's go ahead and trim it out. There's our little tail. A rib. I think the old timers were using copper. So that's what we'll use. Dusty copper rig. We have to think the body color. What the body color would be. I'm guessing that's a natural hare's ear. Which would be good if we can find a darker natural hare's ear. There's a mask that's a little bit fluffy for what we want. The hare's mask. Here's a box of dubbing. Let's open it up. I think that would be the appropriate. It's got a lot of guard hairs on it, which looks like what they have. So we'll use some of that. Darker natural. We'll dub the abdomen tight, but we'll dub the thorax loose. I'll show you the technique. We'll dub the abdomen tight. There's a few guard hair still in there, which is fine. And we'll give it our, oh man, we should start further back. And we should put one wrap behind the copper. There we go. Till about right there. Ooh, I want to trim these out, but I'm going to leave them. I'm going to leave it. And go ahead and wrap the rib. And tie it off. I'm going to use a darker turkey for the wing case. I don't know what he was using. Maybe pheasant, but we'll use a darker turkey. No, we'll use a regular turkey. Just not the white stuff. The brown stuff right here looks good. And then the nice side of the feather, I'm gonna tie that down. The matte side of the feather, I'm gonna tie up because we fold it over. And I'm gonna try to tie it in, keeping those barbs flat. Let's check our fold. Yeah, fold looks good. I think this might be the art flick. This is a hare's ear nymph. Ah, did Art Flick invent the hare's ear nymph? What? Maybe he did. I thought the hare's ear was a British guy. Could be wrong. Art Flick is American. This is going to be an international debate. What a quick Google search would solve the issue. I'm going to use a technique I know that he wasn't using, but I want spiky, fluffier thorax, so I'm going to split, and then I'm going to give it a slight touch with wax. Got my hair's ear. Distribute that in my loop. And then I'm going to spin it up. Hopefully we have enough to cover. If not, we'll finish the rest with the rope. That's pretty spiky. There's one prominent spike I'm going to pull. Okay. Go ahead and wrap that thorax. Very spiky. That's enough. A couple hackle legs. A nice soft hackle would be good. This is a nice one, but the fibers are too straight. We need something with a little bit more character. Partridge would be nice. But I think I'm going to go back to the mallard. The mallard is also straight, but I can bend the mallard. And I'm going to tie it in as a beard. I know the old timers used to tie in the more modern patterns have legs at the top, but the old timers used to tie them in at the bottom. The OGs. So we will get a few of these mallards. We'll tie them in at the bottom, and then we'll try to rotate them to the side. You don't see this technique much anymore. The bottom legs on the nymphs, which this was not a good placement. Maybe mallard was not the right material. That's better. Hold it up, trim it out. Whacked off half of the feathers, which is fine. I'm gonna smush it, roll them around. Wing case, let's clean that up just a bit. I'll fold over the wing case. And I had no I shouldn't, but this one is just killing me. Put a few wraps in front, trim off the wing case, whip it. I'm trying to put the whips over that the butts of the wing case. Hide them. Oh, she's messy. I mean, you tell me what you think. Same? Not same. My thorax is longer. His tail's a yellow and longer. But I know that'll catch fish. So we're just gonna leave it at that. The next fly we're gonna tie is what I think is the coolest one, is this guy. This guy's like a soft hackle, but it looks like the body is some kind of feather marabou used as a dubbing, which is interesting. Yeah. The flimp. There's a fly trending these days called the pheasant-tail nymph. They call it the flimp, and this kind of reminds me of that. But that body is obviously not pheasant-tail. Yeah, the picture's dark. You can't really see it. That's maybe that's on purpose. So, all right, let's do that. Soft hackle pattern. The hackle's gonna be tough to find, but we'll give it a try. All right. Let's get started. I think this one is unweighted, which is nice. Save us a step. We need to find some soft feathers for the body, which we're gonna chop up and dub. And then it looks like the rib is thread. We might change that. Maybe not. I don't know. Into the box to find the feather. One feather. Here's the yellow partridge. That's the right idea. And now I find the different colored mallards. What the heck? Ooh, this could be a good one for the body. Might save that. These ones might be good for the body too. Here, I've been saving this cork. I want to try to tie a cork something or other. I'm taking it out so I don't forget. This neck has a lot of good soft hackles, but they're real long. But maybe we can try to find one that can work for us. So I think we'll be okay. Let's start with the tail. We'll do one of these darker ones for the tail. Just strip out a little bit. That's quite heavy. That's too heavy. Take out half. Go ahead and tie in the tail. Pretty substantial right there. Much more than our photograph. We will reverse course on that and thin it out even more. And shorter. Okay. It's time to wire. We're gonna do the thread for the rib. A thick brown thread is what we need. Here's a brown thread, but it's not thick. I'm gonna stick with the copper wire, what we used last time. does look like there's some kind of wing case, which I think that's a little bit goofy, but we will also add a wing case. There we go. For the body material, I'm gonna trim up this feather, then I'm gonna trim half of this feather, and I'm gonna mix those colors. They're soft, quite soft materials. Then I'm gonna roll them around in my hand, rip them, rip them. And then I'm gonna start rolling them on the thread. That's probably too tight. We'll save the rest for the thorax. One wrap around the wire. Then in front. That's too much. Stop there. Counter wrap with the copper. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction because this feather dubbing is real loose. I didn't counter wrap with the synthetic. The synthetic will stay in place, but these feathers will start coming out easily. So we counter wrap. The rib actually matters. Let's go ahead and tie in the wing case. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Instead of using the pheasant or the turkey, I'm just gonna use feather. It'll be much subtler. That same soft hackle we used earlier. I'm doing this because I don't think the wing case is a integral part of this fly. There we go. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more of our feather dubbing. And dub the thorax. It's coming loose already. Get our wing case folded over. Now we need a hackle. The perfect hackle. Ooh, I think we got one. Might be a little long. One side, both sides aren't great. Some of the feathers are ripped. And take one side off. And tie it in tip first. And I'm just going to do one wrap. Oh man, that was not a good cut. Okay. Slow as she goes. Might need to do 2 wraps. And trimmy. Let's do one more, couple reinforcing wraps. I'll clean up the legs after I whip it. Oh, maybe I should have cleaned it up before I whip it. Go ahead and clean up those legs. Everything's okay except this feather. I think I did it backwards. Tying it in, I should have like flipped it and then wrapped it or something, because the feathers are concave in the wrong direction, which gives it an interesting look, but definitely not the same as our picture. Not victorious. There's another nymph. We're not doing another nymph. A bucktail streamer. Classic. Kind of tempted to do that. That might be for a different day. Let's check the Google. So we did some dry flies. We did the blue wing olive. We've done a wet fly. We've done a nymph. Here's what we've tied so far. But we're just checking now to see if Artflick's got any other hidden mysteries. This is a pretty cool one right here. This guy might be a hidden mystery. The polar bear. The polar bear might be some kind of streamer. March brown nymph. Might be a good one. A winged wet. Might be a good one to tie. But I'm not a wet fly swinger. I'm trying to find something I would use. Black nose dace. Black nose dace was art flick pattern. Didn't know that. Yeah, let's do the black nose dace. Black nose dace. Black nose dace. The hook. The hook has to be a long, something long shank. This would be a killer brook trout fly. The hard part is for me, the hard part's gonna be that varnished head. That's gonna be the tough part for me. Better use black thread. We'll go with a 140 black, a little bit thicker, easier to build up the head. We need a little tail, red tail material. And then I'm gonna freestyle this one. We're gonna change some stuff up. So for the tail, I'm gonna do like a synthetic red dubbing. This is mixed with a little bit of I forget what they call it, the fake hair, not the fake hair. What do you call this stuff? There's a name for this stuff. I don't know the name of it, but I got a little bit blended with red dubbing or red flash. And then we'll use this for our tail, but I'll show you what I do. Tie it in, fold it back, pinch wrap it. It might be nice look to straight cut it, but I'm gonna rip it. That'll be our tail, a little bit more prominent than what's on our photo. But the straight cut would be also kind of cool look. Then the body, I'm gonna do a pearl wrap with a red wire. Yeah, we'll do pearl wrap with a red wire for the body. They have a silver wrap with a silver wire. But we're gonna do pearl with red. Tying our wire. Get our body. Body material. Some flashaboo. Everybody's favorite. This is all messed up. That's way more than we need. Could have done the tail just flat as well. I think that would have looked better. I got to make sure to cover that pinch wrap. There we go. And then wrap the body. Our wraps are getting, there we go, back on track. Nope, we lost it. Back on track. The thread, black thread showing a little bit. I'm not too worried though. And we want to get it pretty high up toward the eye of the hook. Cut out that flash of blue. And let's counter wrap the red wire. Start building that head. Bucktail, squirrel tail, some kind of tail. I need to look again. Black nose dace. I need to look at other patterns. Oh man, they're doing multicolored tails. Fly. So I think we'll need black in there. Yeah, maybe black and brown squirrel. No, I know what to do. Pinch of white. Okay, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this one, and it's got a layer of white, a layer of black, and a layer of brown. Same with this one. And I think that's the ticket. This guy's got a sweet painted eye, but oh, I don't think I can do that. Layer of white, layer of black, layer of brown. Layer of white, layer of black, layer of brown. Layer of white will have to be bucktail. Layer of black will have to be dark green. I don't think I have black bucktail, but I do have a black squirrel tail. If I can find you. But I was thinking this is pretty dark on this olive bucktail. So we'll do that instead. Keep the same hairs. And then a layer of brown. which will be the natural color of a bucktail, the natural. All right, now white, black, brown. Can you tie it in one bunch, or do you have to tie it separately? That's the question. And I'm thinking one shot, but I'm gonna have to clean tips. I'm gonna hold the tips, and I'm gonna pull the shorts. Pull the shorts. I just want the longest, straightest hairs. And then I'll come back and I'll measure the tips. Okay, that's clean. Then, oh, that looks pretty good. The white is starting to travel a little bit. I think, well, that's not good. If I pull them, I can't put them back. Maybe you tie them in one at a time. Maybe you tie them in one at a time. I'm just gonna try this. I'm gonna sacrifice these few. I will oversize it a tad, about right there. I'm gonna tie in high, and I'm gonna really crank that first wrap. I'm gonna cord up my thread a little bit, cranking, cranking, cranking. White, black, brown, brown and black didn't really separate well. Give it a trim, and then cover the thread, cover the butts rather. That's good. I'm gonna do just a touch of glue to kind of lock it in, and then we'll come back with our nail polish. Touch glue, nice and thin. Cover that with a few wraps. A nice bullet shape would be cool. I'll call that good. We'll get some buildup with the, oh, what the heck? With the varnish. In my case, which is fingernail polish. Oh. I had a hard time whipping because of the glue. And then maybe I tied the bucktail too tight down, which for the fishing aspect doesn't really matter. It would be better if it were tighter. So the flash is the belly, the wing is the body, the red is just kind of a tractor. We'll keep it. And do a touch of the black paint. Kind of rotate that around. I think that's it. We did 5 art flake flies. While that's settling, we'll go over the 5 art flick flies we tied. We started out with the red quill, the classic. Turned out nice. Oh, I like this one. And then we transitioned to the blue wing olive, no wing, with it. Oh, did I touch with the dubbed body? This was a good one. And then we did the nymph, which is just a hare's ear nymph to me, but it's nice and messy. Maybe too messy. And we did mallard for the tail and legs, and natural dark hare's ear for the body, turkey for the wing case. And then we did this soft hackle, but we used the feather dubbing, and then but the hackle legs should be concave the other way. Somehow we ended up tying these hackles in weird, but it's very sparse and nice pattern. And then we finished with a streamer, the black nose dace, which is drying as we speak. What we will situate our patterns here, and then we can cork him. We'll cork this guy. Maybe we cork all of them. That's the thumbnail, baby. We cork all of these guys on here. Let's take a look at that corked. And not very glorious. You like number 5? I like number 5 too. We are try to rotation. Yeah, rotation doesn't help. All right, we're finished. See you guys next time.